So this is the second of the 3 screencasts I'm doing to introduce student and teachers alike to this awesome program called Geoguessr. And we're going to look at the techniques and how to incorporate the 5 themes of geography as gone over in the first screencast into this kind of competitive guessing game. So the clues that I'm looking for is this a familiar road system? Look at the type of trees in the landscape, since this is going to be harder because it's a rural area. But the first thing I'm noticing that looks strange to me are the dashes. That doesn't seem very familiar to me, so I'm going to assume that's either maybe Canada or somewhere in Europe. And based on the beautiful trees and the mountains, it looks to me almost like the Great Northwest here. So around the Oregon, Washington area, but maybe over in Europe, or maybe it could even be up in Canada. So I'm going to go ahead and make my guess in Canada. And I'm really not sure about this one, so I'm just going to plop it down. Not even try and find a major highway, because this is obviously not a major highway, but I will try and find some greenery to put it on. Okay, so I'm just going to make my guess. We'll see. Oh my goodness, I should have gone with my other thought, which was in Europe. That makes sense. So it's about the same. It's a close latitude, but it's not a perfect comparison. So I still got over 1,000 points because I was 6,000 kilometers off. So for this next guess, this one's going to be tricky because it's another rural area, but it's agricultural. Let me see if there's any familiar signs. The road signs are always very helpful. So on this one, there's no yellow lines. Usually a telltale for American roads is that there's either a yellow dotted line or yellow lines, but that doesn't mean that it's not someplace I haven't been, or it's just someplace that I haven't been. So maybe I'll sneak up on this car and see if I can see how long the license plate is. And also it looks like this car is in the left lane, which I am embarrassed to admit, but I still don't know which countries drive in the left lane. So I'm going to go ahead and take a guess somewhere in Europe just to move this along. Austria. Oh my goodness, it's in Australia. I should have guessed because it's below the equator. And it did look very deserty. Okay, so I only got 64 points, which is absolutely nothing. Okay, so for my next guess, oh, this is fantastic. This is a gorgeous area. It looks like a campsite of sorts. Having some trouble focusing. This is a super backcountry dirt road. And I've seen something similar I've stayed in a similar looking place in Central Oregon. But this could truly be anywhere, since I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to a street sign or not. This is a problem with the program on my computer, at least. Okay, so there is some scrub brush. I'm just going to take a random guess because I really don't know. And it's not really letting me turn around and look, but there's some bull pine looking trees. So I'm going to go ahead and guess where in the place that I've been that looks remotely like this. Central Oregon, but maybe in the green here. And once again, I was on the wrong continent, but it was a pretty close latitude. I only got 700 points for that. So you see how the points build up and can make this a little competitive? I'm going to make a random guess just to get through the rounds so we can get on to our third screencast. I'm hoping that when you're watching this, you're like, oh, I know exactly where that is, or I think I can make a really good guess, and then you got it right when you guessed. Let's see, I'm going to guess maybe somewhere in Asia. Okay, so I'm going to throw down my guess. Right in China. Holy cow. And it was in Africa. I got a horrible guess. And I'm going to stop right there so that you see what happens in the third screencast. And we can talk about how to use this. Oh, we got one more round. Quick guess. Okay, I got it on the right continent this time, but now, okay, so remember this screen and we'll come back to this in the third screencast.